Okay, this is the last video that I'm going to be able to create until I finish all of the software on the website and documentation and all of that stuff. So here is a 5-minute chart of this morning in crude oil. This was the pullback that I was looking for to get back into that long that I had taken yesterday but gotten out of right before the end of the day. So I wanted to get back in. This set up beautifully. So I was showing this to a number of different people to try to convince them to go long in crude. From the high to the high, gave us this high right here, and then gave us the ABCD projection down to the lower median line at the 200%. And that's where we came down to, and we reversed strong on that climax bar down, and I got back in, I got into this trade, which is, essentially getting back in from exiting yesterday. Got back in on the pullback, which was right here on this pullback. And I'll show you that on the 1 minute. But beautiful trade. It was up almost 300 ticks, nearly. I'm going to be holding this as a swing trade because remember, this was a major reversal. So we should be going up now to new highs. But the problem is we've come up and we've hit the top of this downtrend channel. So that's why we're backing off a little bit now. I imagine we'll come back down to the top of this channel line and then go up. So probably should have gotten out right here, but I'm going to try and hold this for a break of these highs, maybe the next few days. So let's just start with the hourly chart. You can see, I don't know how well you can see it, but I guess if I draw it for you with the regular pitchfork, from that low to that high to this low, you can see the median line is this silver line right here. That's where it's pulled back to. So that was really about the main reason that I got in where I did. That's the main reason why it didn't come all the way back to the shadow line. Oftentimes it'll break out, come back. That's called the kiss goodbye. It didn't do that because we had a median line in between the shadow and that, in between price and the shadow. We had the median line there. It was also the 100% extension. So it was the 100% move, for instance, from low to high to low, 100% is right there. Okay, now what else it is, let's look at the 15-minute. If we're looking at this in terms of wave theory, we have the 5 waves up. Okay, this would classify as the 5th wave. And then we have this kind of a sideways and then a last push up. So what I measured this as was the end of the 5th wave right here, and then A, B, C down 261.8. So I'm running the fibs from the low here. That gives me the 38.2 right here. And then from the low right here, this low, that gives me the 50% right there. So I can take the delete tool and I can delete all of these other lines, get them out of the way, and leave only that confluence zone right there. So from high here to the high there, back to the lowest closing price because that has such a large wick on it. I connect to the lowest closing price. That gives me an intersection of that fib confluence zone right there perfectly. And of course, what else is it but the perfect ABCD pattern. If I draw this from right here, you can see it perfectly. It comes right down to it. Right where the 200 meets the lower median line and the ABCD. So then on the 1 minute, I mean, this is as pretty as it gets. This is a perfect signal right here. On the 1 minute, you can see we get the reversal back up, and then it comes back down. And when it comes back down, that last bar that came down was on very low volume. You see that? Very low density, low volume. Relative volume was 60%. Relative density was the same, 60%. The next bar turns up, and I buy that following bar with a tight stop below this low. I think it was a, let's see, 7. Yeah, it was a 7-tick stop. A 7-tick stop to make over 200 ticks. That is how you're able to get really good growth without a lot of risk. And this is the only way that I've found to be able to do stuff like that. Now what else it is the bottom of this value area. So if we're looking at this entire distribution here, the value area is really about like that, I would say. Something like that. So the value area low for this distribution here would be something like right here. You can see it came down and it nailed that little HVN right there. And then it turns right up and it just screams to the upside. Look at that. Makes it to this little distribution right here. If I load more days, you see? Makes it right there. And now we're coming back down to the bottom end right here. And then this would be another pocket right here that it may come back into. So it'll probably do something like this. Go into here. And so that's what I'm holding for. Right, but that would have been a great exit there if I would have gotten out when we were up in here, which is essentially from right here. Okay, but it's likely going to get right through that. We just need to have, I mean, such a strong move like this, we need to correct some of that at least. What that high is actually is the 1-to-1. You see the 100%? That's the 1-to-1 of this move here. From low to this high. That gives us the 100% extension. And the very tip of it is the 100% Babson line. So that would be the upper parallel of the trend channel line. You see? And now we're back to the midpoint of that. So this would be a good spot for it to actually turn back up a little bit before coming down further. So that's it. I don't have a lot more to say about it. These last two bars on the 30-minute were churn bars in the relative density. Another fine reason to exit right there. It would have been just a perfect exit. I don't know why I didn't take it. I guess I was so excited about being in such a huge trade. And I did make up my mind that I was going to hold this as a swing trade. So you can see we made it up to the upper parallel and through it a little bit. So that definitely would have been a great exit. Breaking through this kind of a throwover of the upper ML line, upper median line. Again, if you want to look at the tick chart, how I fine-tuned the entry, it was also a pullback to this VWAP from the low here, and the reversal bar reversed on increasing volume. So I know there's a lot of volume coming back in. You can't really see that on the minute chart, so that's why I use the tick chart. It tells me you know, how many contracts per tick on average are participating, because it is a tick chart. So the volume that I'm looking at is volume per tick. Naturally, you want to see an increase in volume when it reverses and turns back up. So we saw that, the close of that bar, I went long right there. And it never looked back. You see the high right there with a extreme spike. It was also very high volume per second, extremely overbought in the Chaikin oscillator, and then it just rides up these little VWAPs from the prior pivots. There you have it. So this will be the last video. Maybe I do a little bit of an update on this trade where I get out, but that'll be it until I finish the website and the software.